Welcome to the Third Win channel, where today we're doing our weekly Q&A following the third episode of Season 2 of iCarly. Let's start this Q&A by looking at some viewer questions we've gotten over the week. Starting off with, actually two people asking the same question. Abdul and David both asked, where's Tebow, or where's Tebow at? And the simple answer to that question is that we don't really know. The information we got about Tebow and the Groovy Smoothie this episode was that it was probably shut down due to an oversized rat problem, and Spencer found Tebow's old food sticks in the back, which leads me to believe, and since all the furnishing's still there, leads me to believe that the place wasn't shut down that long ago. So maybe Tebow's probably still around. He just probably couldn't sustain the business. Maybe because of the pandemic. Maybe. But I think that's interesting. Maybe we'll see Tebow return, trying to claim back his Groovy Smoothie from Spencer in the season finale or something crazy like that. But the simple answer to the question is we don't really know where Tebow is, but I'm guessing he's still around. Next up, we got Brian asking, honestly, how did Spencer even become stupid rich? So we kind of got this answer last season, where there was an explanation about how he created a sculpture out of marshmallows that was the White House, and some kind of fiasco happened and it burned, and he became really famous from it. And he probably sold it for, I don't know, millions maybe. And maybe his name did mean something being connected to iCarly, but how did he become stupid rich? I wonder if it's just from selling that one piece, or if it's from him being an established artist. But basically, yes, he's a famous artist at this point, and deservedly so. But how rich he is, how he's able to just buy the Groovy Smoothie, just as a second thought. Yeah, we don't know, but it seems like he is very rich. Moving on, we have a question from Pretty, who said, I'm a little confused. How can we tell this was following the events of episode 1 and not 2? So she's referring to episode 3, how I mentioned in a video that episode 3 is directly following episode 1. And the way we can tell, two ways. So first of all, the story. In episode 3, we have Harper grieving the breakup with a Double Dutch, which we see in episode 1, and we see Freddie mad at Spencer over throwing a funeral instead of a launch party. So we see the story clearly working together, and episode 2 had nothing to do with episode 3. It was a completely separate thing, and the kind of more logical maybe way of even piecing this all together is that they were shot in a specific order. So episode 1 was shot at the first, episode 2 was shot 5th in the season, so it had the production code 205, and then episode 3 was actually shot 2nd, so it makes sense that the story kind of goes together that way. Is this because the show is the production is messy, whatever? I don't know. That's just the way it is, but that answers that question. Moving on, let's move on to some questions I had watching episode 3 this week, starting with, was the way Harper treated the question should be, what was the way that Harper treated Carly in episode 3 okay? Like, was it morally or ethically correct? And this, I think, I've thought about this a little bit, and yeah, like, she's kind of treating Carly like a child, but she's kind of exempt from being kind of like this, like, looking down on her or misjudging her by the fact that she's like best friends with Carly. So she knows Carly. She knows that Carly, wouldn't actually want to do this. Maybe she knows that Carly is somewhat impulsive in some ways and makes stupid decisions to make others happy. Maybe something like that. She knows Carly well enough to know that she had to make this all like kind of fake. Because after all, she did go and get a tattoo out of nowhere with something that she doesn't even like, the whole bunnies and guns thing. But I think that was okay. I think it was actually very appropriate the way Harper did it, especially when she was going through a tough time after a breakup and she just wanted to make her friend happy. Moving on, what will the new name for Bar F be? So this is actually not something that I need to answer, because someone in the comments corrected me and answered that Shay What is the official name for the new place. It was revealed in some kind of teaser, and Jerry Trainer confirmed it himself. There's a whole like video kind of talking about it. So my bad on that one. It's official. It's gonna be called Shay What, which means that Bar F is gonna, is no more, and it's gonna get probably refurbished into Shay What, which we see in the trailer. But we'll talk more about that in the predictions video coming very soon this week. So that's that answered. Next up, what does Carly's lack of awareness say about her? So Carly didn't I couldn't tell that it wasn't alcohol. She couldn't tell that everything was fake. She couldn't tell the tattoo was fake. All this. Well, I think it just shows that she trusts her friend a lot. So like, even though she was kind of skeptical of the drink, like, oh, I don't even taste the alcohol, and oh, the tattoo didn't hurt at all, right? I think she just trusts Harper well enough, or maybe her lack of experience drinking or getting tattoos is what led to it. But this lack of awareness, I think she was just trusting Harper so much that she didn't really think critically. And I think that's okay. I think that everyone can have a night out with their friends or a day out with their friends and kind of forget to think critically and where they're just having fun. I think that's what it is. I don't think it's that much deeper, but it does show that she has a lack of experience. I think it's even mentioned by Harper in the episode that Carly doesn't really drink. So it does kind of lead to a lack of experience. Maybe Carly in her time in Italy was more reserved, kind of stayed to herself, introverted, didn't really go out much. So something like that. Moving on, Freddie's business is Freddie's business affected positively in this episode. So we see him having a business meeting with someone in Japan, and even though there are frequent breaks, that's something to be expected from web calling, as long as it doesn't get too weird in the conversation, which it kind of does get. But you get the sense that his Japanese partner is smiling and he's positive about this idea of what was it, lending him the dogs in a sketchy way. It seems like things are going well, and maybe we'll cover it more in the predictions video, but probably we'll see some dogs, some puppies coming in and working, not working, but suiting Freddy's app in the future. So I think that his business was definitely affected positively in this episode. There's also some clarity that Spencer is no longer going to be his business partner. He's just going to be giving him some money now. So there is some positive stuff going on here, I think, for sure. Not negative. Moving on. How did Millicent learn Japanese? So this one surprised me. I feel like this was almost a little exaggerated. Like, how does this 11-year-old know English and Japanese and maybe some Spanish from Freddie? That's a bit of a throwback to the original. But how did she learn Japanese? Could it be through school? 11 years old? Definitely not. We know that she has a bit of a knack for business, and Japanese is a very important language in business, but I can't see an 11-year-old learning Japanese for business reasons. So maybe she learned Japanese to watch anime, or maybe it's a combination of them all. But it's certainly very impressive that she knows Japanese and so well, and so it seemed like she knew it fairly fluently, right? So how did she learn it? I'm gonna have to guess either it's her. Maybe she's more passionate than we know about business and she needed to learn Japanese, or she's an avid anime watcher, because I don't believe it can come from school. Moving on, we have actually our last question from a viewer, which is about the channel, actually, not about iCarly. So I figured I should answer this on the channel just to give some transparency. But Fulham asks, I'm just curious, is this an iCarly content channel? And the way I'd answer this is not necessarily. Right now, with the new iCarly season coming out and all this hype, and I mean, I love iCarly, just like you guys, so I love making this content. But obviously, during the off season, I'm not going to be making iCarly content all the time, right? There's going to be, this channel is a bit of a media channel. It's like a media. We discuss media. We discuss things. So it's not necessarily an iCarly content channel, although right now it probably seems to be. But yeah, it's still kind of open ended. It's still quite a new channel, so. Yeah, and I'm always open to suggestions for videos or things you want reviewed or talked about. So always drop those in the comments. And also, don't forget to drop some questions for next week's Q&A, because, you might get featured in the video. So I'm looking forward to the next Q&A. But for now, I think that's a good way to end the video. This has been the Third Win channel. Thank you for watching, and look forward to that predictions video probably coming tomorrow. And, of course, our weekly episode review coming on Friday. So I'll see you guys very soon for that. And thank you for watching the Third Win channel.